Hey, what's up guys? This is Colin. This is Whynotmake. On this channel, I like to share some projects that I've done, and those have involved taking some, I don't know, thing like a boombox or a treadmill or something in my shop, and usually if it sits here long enough, I kind of figure out something I want to do with it, and I love experimenting with kind of what you can repurpose something and how you can reuse it. And today I wanted to share with you guys 4 ways that I personally end up building a collection of cool boom boxes or taking advantage of some of the free or inexpensive opportunities to buy like a rare item. In my case, it's a lot of times old electronics, but for you it could be anything, clothes or furniture. There's 4 ways that I would recommend to kind of find those cool opportunities. So, number 1, free. If you are on a budget, this is an awesome opportunity because free is not only inexpensive, it's non-expensive. You do have to think about some things if you find something for free. And that's kind of the point I should make first of all, is make sure you're not stealing it, because even if it may be on the side of the road, I mean, if it's like a motorcycle and it just happens to be parked in the grass, I don't think I would think that that was for free. Free is the best option when you don't even want to spend $1 and you just want to move up in the world. The things that I would recommend taking for free would be things that you know you can resell very quickly or use very quickly, because I have been a victim of this where you're like, wow, it's free, we might as well have, you know, a 3rd grill in the garage, and you don't need 3 grills, and you know they all need work, and so what are you doing, you know? And that's why you shouldn't take all the free stuff. And that's why I have a big shop and I'm looking around and I'm like, man, I should watch this channel. So free. Here's the other thing that I would recommend contemplating before you just see something like on the side of the road, or someone's giving it away, and I would think about how many spiders live inside of it, because I would bet you there's like 10. And I just assume there's like 10 spiders that live in everything that I grab that's free or yucky, and that happens a lot. So just assume that there's going to be spiders in it. And a couple other things, I made myself a list so I could make sure and cover some important facts, and those would be if it is something you're going to plug into the wall, I would look at the cord and make sure that the last person didn't just throw it away because it was a frayed cord, or that it's like, you know, their dog chewed it all up and you're going to electrocute yourself. So be safe. And number 2 on the list. So number 2 way to find cool stuff is estate sales and garage sales. But I don't really like garage sales. I like estate sales. I live in the Midwest, and that means that we have, in these summer non-COVID times, you know, there's an estate sale once a week or twice a week in my town. So that is a house that I just assume the people died, but I think sometimes they just move out. You know, I'd probably rather have the one where the person died, because then it's a better sale because they're selling everything. But I mean, I'm not going to choose that on anybody. I'm just saying that those sales are awesome because it's a company that comes in and tags everything. So a tag sale maybe, but you go in person usually, and you just walk through this house and like everything's for sale, and you pay for it right there. It's like a huge garage sale if you just made everything in your house a tag and you sold it, and people just walked in and you're like, oh, like here's my clothes and stuff. So those are going to be something you can look up ahead of time usually. I think most of these companies are on the internet, and that means that you can look at photos of what they're going to sell for that next sale and decide, is it worth your time, or, you know, are you going to go there, or is there something really cool there that you want to get there really at the beginning to try and get, because once it's sold, it's sold. All right, so warnings about estate sales, because as good as these sound, there are a few drawbacks, and those are One, you're going to need probably cash. At least where I go, you 100% are going to need cash. You are going to need enough cash to buy anything that you could want. So if you have $30 and you go to a estate sale and there's something awesome and it's $300 and you should 100% get it, you don't have enough money to get it. And sometimes they'll hold it and sometimes they won't. Sometimes there's literally someone right behind you that just is like, no, I'm going to buy it right now. So think about that, and think about weird people. I'm going to stick with bring cash, and just kind of be prepared for like I don't know, weird people. And know that you're going to have to take out whatever you just buy. Actually, I should stress this point. You're going to have to take out whatever you buy. And most of the time, you're going to try and take it out right then, or you need to. So just be prepared for what you're going to buy. Number 3 on the list is auctions. And boom, this is actually 3 and 4, because the other great ways to find cool stuff is to do auctions. And if you're in an area like me in the Midwest, for example, where we have local auctions where an auctioneer gets up there and says ba ba da ba doo ba da ba da ba doo boo, and you can go to a live auction. Those are awesome opportunities because it's either going to be great or it's going to be nothing, but it can be great. And I've had awesome auction experiences where I stumbled on, a guy's motorcycle collection that it just depends on who's there. They are really generally limited to whoever is at the auction. Now, there are some auctions that will be live and they will let people do basically a remote bid. And those auctions, are kind of like you can at least call them and bid on over the phone ahead of time. But for the most part, you're going to be bidding against whoever's standing around you. And if there are a lot of different types of things at this auction, maybe those people are interested in what you're not interested in. Maybe you're interested in something that they're not interested in, and you just get lucky and then you buy everything up that you can. And I do that all the time, and that's my favorite thing to do, because if you are buying something that you can basically resell for 10, 20, 30, 100 times your investment, that's what you're after. So if you are going to be able to go to live auctions, that's an awesome way to find cool stuff. And number 4 would be online auctions that are local. And those are going to be auctions that you are able to pull up on the internet and see where and when they are and when the stop date is, so you know when the auction closes and what time of day the next day. Usually you have to pick up your stuff. That's how it is where I am. And basically you bid online and you have a cutoff time, and if you lose, you lose. If you win, you have to go get it, and they're going to charge you and you're going to go pick it up within a set time period. So online auctions give you the basically time ahead to prepare and research and look at all these pictures and figure out if you want to bid on it. Some of the problems with it are you're going to buy it sight unseen usually. There's often opportunities to go preview the items. I never do. If it was something incredibly important, I would. I have before, but I just generally don't. I just have to research off the photos and kind of know what auction house I'm going through. So some of the negatives of the online auctions are going to be the fact that this happens to me a lot. You bid on like 5 things that are smart, and you bid on like one thing that's not very smart, and then you bid on one thing that you're like, oh, that's cool. And you end up just winning like the stupidest thing you could win, and it's an hour away, and then you kind of screw yourself. It's not worth me driving that hour for that $10 item that I don't think I should have bid on. So if you bid on something big though, you need to go get it, because they are going to hate you if you don't. And probably there's something in your contract that when you sign up on that site that says like you're going to get charged or something like that. So just know that if you do bid online, you need to get it. I'm referring to small stuff if I ever ask them if I can leave it. So other things the nice part is you can be at home and you can just bid on stuff. That's the other nice part about the online local auctions. So you still have the advantage of a geographic region that is feeding these things in like very quickly. Estate sales, you know, some of these pop up and they're only on the line, you know, on the site for 4 days or something like that. And it might be somebody that collected something that you're after, and that's awesome, because if you can find those sales, like that's where you get, you know, so many things that you're after, and you kind of scoop them up and you get excited and you just keep looking. I think the only downside to those is it takes a while to just look through all these things. So, I mean, you never know. I wish you can search for terms, but the problem is these companies don't do a great job actually photographing and documenting like what they are. It may say vintage set of speakers. Well, the truth is, like, what I get for $20 is like a, you know, $500 pair of speakers, which has happened. And I mean, last year I got a couple sets of speakers that were beautiful, beautiful speakers, and they just said vintage, or no one even knew what they were. And so you just, you know, you get them for 20, 30 bucks. And then I come here and listen to them for like a year, and then I sell them. Now, I would say that the online auctions are a little bit harder to find, like those like treasures, because you have so many people with so much time that, you know, you've got maybe 4 days or 4 weeks ahead of time that people are even around the country looking for specific stuff and finally hone in on these things. But you're going to pay higher prices than like the local auctions, because you're not just competing against the people that are standing right next to you. And last but not least is my number one tip on how to find the cool stuff that you're after, and that is to find a person that can find it for you. And what I mean by this is my biggest success finding old boom boxes, which I love, because I have a local guy that is in a, well, I guess he's like, you know, an hour away in a bigger city that searches not just for me, he goes to estate sales every day. And so he just buys all these, and then I buy them from him. And I met him probably 8 times, and I just meet him and I just pay him for the boom boxes. He sends me a photo, I don't know, maybe 6 times a year, every couple months, and I just buy all the boom boxes from him, and it's awesome. And it's really working out, and that's what I would suggest to you, is what you have to do is, if you find something that you're after and you're into, or you know you can sell and you're trying to make some money, find out where they're getting it. And if it's a one-off, that's whatever. But if it's a person like I ran into, where I bought some boom boxes off Craigslist one day, and I said, hey, how did you come across these? And he's like, I just go to estate sales. And I said, well, can you just call me the next time you have any, and just say, and I'm probably interested. You know, I didn't know for sure. And then he texted me a picture a couple months later, and I just bought them all. I said, what do you want for them? And it ended up being like maybe 13 bucks a piece. And so I bought them all, and usually I'll flip a couple of them out of that and make the money back. So a lot of times I can sell maybe 2 of them or 1 of them and make all the money that I bought all of them with. And then I just keep, I don't know, I just keep having more of them. So that's my 4 ways to find cool stuff, plus my bonus way, which is find a cool person to find the cool stuff for you. You know, more the merrier if you're on a search for something awesome. So if you have any awesome ideas for adding to this list, let me know. I do appreciate any comments on this channel, and if you want to tune back in, we'll probably be doing another project soon, or chatting about cool stuff. So we'll see you again. Why not make?